Hey everyone, welcome to ProBROknow, the podcast. Three brothers, three opinions, one topic. Today we're talking about browsing history, public or private. Let's dive in.
So I guess I'll probably jump in on this because I'm torn with this topic. I do believe there should be some sort of insight.
Just the word torn.
Exactly.
Okay.
Kind of
Why are
reminded
you
me
torn?
of something else, but
Okay, well, it rhymes with torn.
yes.
But yeah, no, I'm torn with the topic because I do believe that there should be some sort of government insight if someone's looking how to make a bomb or something.
Yeah.
Would you not want someone to maybe get involved and check out that person if they're searching something like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. As far as other personal browsing history that people do, whatever, in the privacy of their own home, I do believe that should remain private.
Mm-hmm. So how do you distinguish then between what's allowed to be private and what's not?
Well, that's
So if you put in bomb making, then that suddenly becomes public?
yeah, and that's the problem. Where do you draw the line on what somebody should or shouldn't be able to see as far as what you're doing? And I get your point about your browsing, but I mean, what if somebody was, if they were typing in how to become a terrorist, should that flag the FBI? Like, should they be able to do that? I'm guessing we would want that. No?
I'm pretty sure if someone is searching how to become a terrorist, I'm not too concerned about that terrorist. I got to be honest. I think we're okay. I don't think there's much danger there.
If they have to research how to act to be a terrorist, we're too worried about it. Isn't it just an innate thing?
Is there a terrorist for dummies?
It's like the Cole's notes of terrorism.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, I think obviously certain keywords should probably prompt
Yeah.
some sort of. I don't know. I'm not privy to how the whole thing works, but I'm sure there's some sort of keywords
Thank
that.
goodness you're not privy to it.
Yeah. Well, I don't claim to be in government, so.
Yeah.
But
What do you say? What do you say, Wade?
Well, I didn't think Spencer was done.
Well, apparently I was. So
Yeah.
I can go back to you.
Chad switch it over to Wade.
Okay, go ahead.
No, let's just, for example, I've searched different medical things, right? What? No, I said medical. I don't know what.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
It's funny how suddenly we're talking about browsing history and none of us can keep a straight face.
Wonder where that is.
Medical
Chad.
devices. What kind of devices? What kind of medical devices are you searching for?
I don't know. I just something.
Wade.
You search some kind of medical
Let's
thing
get
that,
serious. This
that
is a
you're going
podcast.
that
Come
you're
on.
going through, and do I want everyone to know what I'm searching on that? No, it's personal.
Well, what are you searching?
It could be anything. Could anything. What if I search what does a tooth abscess feel like, or
Sure.
we know Spence has abscesses. You talk about what if you search that kind of stuff? Maybe that's personal.
Apparently, my abscesses aren't personal now.
Well,
I was just going to say,
depends where
I was
they
just
are.
gonna
tell us about
say,
your
thanks.
abscesses.
Yeah.
It
Spence.
depends where the abscess
different
is.
episode.
It is a different episode. So that should be personal. But I think Spencer's right. If you're searching bomb making or hiding a body or something
Right.
like that, there should
Right.
be keywords, and I'm sure there are keywords
Sure.
that are flagged that your service provider and the government may be looking at and saying that's not okay.
Yeah, but how do they decipher, like, what has to be put in place so that, because there's got to be times when there's words, for example, let's say the word gun. As Canadians, we don't, think about that as much as maybe, the American folks. But if somebody's searching the word gun, should that trigger, that could be used in so many sentences that weren't necessarily, in a negative connotation, right?
It's just an algorithm, so it's going to flag the word, but then they're going to look into it and realize it was just a harmless use of the word gun.
Right, but therein lies the whole issue of their.
Is that
Now-
not government overreach that you can't even say the word or search the word gun without having Big Brother come in and see what
Right,
you're doing?
right.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
where it gets
issue.
tricky for me, right? It's I just think somehow we have freedom of speech, but yet it doesn't really apply on the internet.
Oh, that freedom of speech is a whole 3-hour-long podcast on its own, because I'm not even sure we have that anymore. Freedom of speech is you have the freedom to say what you want as long as it
Right.
toes the company line and what everyone else is saying is the company line right now.
Sure, that's true. You call it government overreach. Is it overreach if they're trying to protect society by, we're using the word gun, and I think there's probably worse ones out there, but I mean, is that government overreach if that's flagging them to have a look and make sure that it's keeping, general public safe, as an example?
I don't think it is.
No?
No, but it's a slippery slope.
So where does it end? Like, where should they, do they listen to the first, are they listening to the first, few minutes of what you're searching and then saying, oh no, this doesn't matter, and then they just move on?
I don't know how it works. I don't know how it gets flagged, how they look into it. I don't know.
Well, I can tell you this. I do know that there is massive data collection and there are server farms
Absolutely.
that pick up cell phone transmission, browser history,
Text.
everything. Yeah, is all recorded. You have all this data being collected,
Right.
with really for no purpose other than to have that data stored until such time that it needs to be reviewed, and then they can go back. So if something happens, you search for gun or bomb making or whatever it is, and then someone can go back and pull up all your phone records, all the internet search history, and then they basically have this plethora of data that they can sift through. Once something happens or if there's an imminent threat, they can then look at all the data.
Yeah, so it's interesting because if I was just innocently looking at things like that, and I'm not trying to be malicious or hurt anyone, I'm going to feel invaded completely if someone is saying, well, why were you searching that? I'm going to feel like that's a huge invasion of my privacy.
Right.
But on the other hand, if someone's doing it because they do want to be malicious and hurt other people, I want them to be caught. So where do you? It's like if it's okay for them, it's got to be okay for me.
I don't know where you draw the line on that, Wade. And you're saying that they're, Spencer, they're collecting that data for no reason. But clearly, if they're doing it as preventative maintenance, essentially, so that they can go back if there's a problem, I guess they are really recording it for a reason.
I think they're recording it so they have that data. Once again, with the way data collection works now, to have storage is, it's infinite. So they just figure, why not collect everything, even though 95% of it may be useless, but they just don't know. So they collect everything, and then if something happens, they sift through it to then put the pieces to the puzzle together. I think that's really what it is.
But sifting through it is an algorithm. It's not human sifting through it. So
Well, I hope not.
I think
no. Who wants that job?
Right.
no. I think what happens is that they collect it all. I'm not saying they're sifting through it in real time. I think what happens is they do all the massive data collection, and then if there is an event or something happens, then they can look at that particular individual and then pull up all the information regarding them.
Yep.
Right. And then it gives them a better picture and helps kind of add clarity to the picture of why maybe this happened or what was the motivation behind it. Right. They have all this other data they can now start pulling.
Well, let me ask you a question. If it's just an algorithm that's searching through it, and it's not really a person who's listening to all of our private, searches or whatever it is we're doing.
Doesn't that make it almost private then, I guess?
Well, I was just going to say, because there's really, if there's not a human, and I don't know how it happens, but if there's not a human, like Wade, if it wasn't a person who was physically viewing your history, would it matter to you that some computer was looking at it if nobody was really going to look at it again unless it was flagging something?
I think that's the issue, though, that it may be a computer initially, but then, as Spencer said, if a certain word or words are flagged because they are the words they've chosen to be flagged,
Right.
then maybe there is a human element that is now looking into it. And so then is that okay?
I think the algorithm would have to, it first gets triggered and then it looks at all the other data elements that it can to see, is there a pattern and is there other things that are, building the story that, wow, this really is someone, intentionally trying to build a bomb, let's say. But if you just said the word bomb or gun and then all the other search and chatter was all benign, it probably then just,
moves on.
Again, the AI gets rid of it and says, okay, this was a false positive. And until it gets all those, whatever those triggers are, I don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's about establishing a pattern,
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, when you had the FBI come to your front door, Spence, how did that feel? Did you feel invaded or?
No, that was just about there was too much poker winnings, and they wanted to verify it wasn't money laundering.
I was just going to say, I don't think I know the story about the FBI
I don't-
coming to your house.
I don't either.
We
but
can't talk about that, Chad.
Yeah,
I was sworn to secrecy.
yeah.
It's confidential.
No, it's interesting because you're right. In some degree, somebody does have to be like the body that is governing all of that stuff. At the same time, we are giving up freedom to have them do that. And
Well, here's the thing. Everyone cries about loss of freedom and Big Brother's watching
Sure.
and blah, blah, blah. But everyone has a phone. And they forget that everything on their phone is trackable.
yeah,
People-
why though? Why should it be trackable?
Well, my point is, though, you don't have to buy a phone, right? It's not like we're being forced to buy a phone, but everyone has a phone.
Everything is trackable on my phone.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you that now. This gets awkward real quick. Yeah.
I need to go delete some history on my phone, I think. Wow.
Yeah, but everyone has a phone. So they all worry about freedoms and
Sure.
Big Brother, but they have a phone. And
Yep.
so if you're going to engage in buying a phone, you have to know that your information is being tracked in some way.
Yeah.
Your location's being tracked, your texts are being tracked. Unless you're going to use a WhatsApp that's encoded or encrypted.
Yeah, I know. I mean, people have said to me before, they walk into a store and that there's cameras outside and in every aisle, and they're just constantly being watched at every capacity.
Yep.
Like, I hate that they're watching me, or like I know that they're watching everything. That just bothers me.
I don't care.
Yeah,
Yeah,
CCTV now is prevalent everywhere. So
Well, it is.
the minute you walk out of the privacy or the sanctity of your own home, you are under the, I think,
You're under surveillance.
premise that you are going to be
You've given up that
surveilled.
right almost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have ultimately,
Nothing
by going
is
into that store,
private.
you've
Walking
accepted
down
the
the
fact
street.
that, yeah, absolutely. All the stoplights downtown, and actually I'm glad that they did that, in the case of where we live, because there was a lot of violence happening downtown. And at least now that they have some idea, they may be able to follow up if, somebody got, seriously injured or stabbed or something, they could maybe follow up and.
Right. So it goes back to what I was saying earlier. We're okay with that because it's catching the people that need to be caught, but we're not okay with our privacy being invaded because we're not bad people. But you can't have both. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
That's exactly the problem. And I don't think there's any way to balance that. Do you, Spence? Like,
No, I think inherently you're giving up rights, right? And there's a fine balance of how much are you willing to give up for the greater good. And that's where I think it's going to be an ongoing debate. And I think if one thing I know is true, a massive swing in surveillance and
sure.
data collection has just been getting more and more as the
Exponential.
years. Yeah.
Exponential. Yep.
yeah,
So to think that it's going to stop here, like now, no. I think we're going to see it, permeate into almost every other thing that we do. Whether it's in your car, it's already happening in your cars. My car already has a camera on the inside that watches me and tracks my eye movements to verify that I'm watching the road. And if my eyes veer off, or if I grab a phone in my hand, then my car is alerting me and
true.
beeping.
And we're all we're all accepting that technology. We know it's there, and we're still using it, and we're not complaining about it.
But you know why it's there? It's because we're not, as humans, we don't follow all the rules. So technology is enforcing us to follow. Look at the enforcement of laws. Everyone knows you shouldn't speed, but they now enforce that. They now have cameras for speeding. They have cameras for red lights, for running red lights, because it's about enforcement, because we don't follow the rules. So when you're driving, if you didn't have a camera on you with your eyes, you'd be averting your eyes way more. You'd be on your phone way more. You'd be eating your sushi as you're driving way more. But because you have a camera.
Someone's been looking at creeping my Instagram profile.
Exactly.
Over there.
Exactly. But because you have a camera, you're forced to follow the rules for the greater good, for the safety of everyone else on the road, right? As you said.
I'm glad there's not a camera in my car, because there was a time when I owned something called a drive-in grill. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do not.
It was called a drive-in grill, and it was drive-in, letter N, grill. And it was literally like a portable grill, like a George Foreman grill, that you could plug into your cigarette lighter so you could cook in your car.
You had that.
Were you planning on being homeless at some point in your life? You were getting prepared. You're like the original prepper.
No, seriously. I bought it as a gag gift. It was, I think Zeller's was closing down, and I went and I saw it. It was on clearance, like, 30, 40, 50, 70% off. And
Zellers, that's a blast from the past.
And it was like, $7. And I thought, I got to buy this as a gag gift.
Do you still have it?
No, I gave it away to somebody.
Chad sold it for more money.
I probably did. A little George Sanford, or sorry, was it not George Sanford? What was his name?
What was his name? I don't know. Sanford and
Sanford.
Sons.
Sanford and Son. Yeah, but what was the dad's name?
I don't know.
Mr. Sanford.
Mr. Sanford.
I just knew the theme song. So you had this grill.
I did.
Did you ever use it in the car when you're driving?
I didn't but we had too many jokes about, the fact that you'd be driving with this hamburger grilling on your passenger seat, paying attention to the road. And that's before self-driving cars and stuff too, right? So,
well, thank goodness there was no camera, as you said.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to ever come up with a solution to the public or private debate. I think it all comes down to what everyone is willing to give up for the greater good and for, I guess, greater security. And that's really where that hangs in the balance, right?
Yeah. And maybe I'm naive when I say this, but there's a big part of me that says, if I'm doing nothing wrong, do I really care if I'm being surveilled?
Yeah.
I really don't. We're not going to change it. This discussion's not going to change it. If we all protest, it's not going to change it. It's the way the world is.
Right.
It's not going away. It's going to get worse, as you said. So I just kind of say, if I'm doing nothing wrong, do I really care if I'm on camera or someone knows what I'm searching? I don't whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I've mixed emotions about it. Part of me thinks I don't really want them to be able to look at that or to
Well, I can understand why, Chad.
Yes, of course. Yes. But I think I'm with you, Wade, that if it comes down to my safety or the safety of my family or the place that I live or whatever, I think I'd rather have that than be worried about, that they recorded a phone call that I had with somebody, I guess.
Just don't take away my drive and grill. That's all I ask, right?
That's right.
Do whatever you want, but don't take away my drive and grill.
Have you ever tried to grill a hamburger and look at the camera at the same time? It's difficult.
Oh, I've done it. It's hard. Yeah, it's
you
hard.
get grease all over the lens. It's
Right?
terrible.
Right?
Yeah. Well, it makes drive-ins that much better.
You could have had one
Look
for
all the money you
for your
save.
car, right? You're self-driving. You could have grilled up a major meal.
Spence has a full-on barbecue in his car. Don't. He's got a Weber in there.
He's got a propane in the front seat.
Yeah.
I make smoothies. I just put the juicer on and
got the Ninja
I
3000
got the blend
in there.
tech. I got the blend tech in there.
Blend
Okay, now you're off topic.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think this was a great topic. Obviously, we're never going to get to the bottom of this, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens as the years pass on and as technology and AI specifically become more ingrained in our society. It's we're going to see probably some pretty crazy stuff. So I'm excited by that. I look forward to that because I'm a techno geek.
Yeah, I know.
But a little bit of that also does scare the hell out of me too. So
We should do a podcast on AI. That would be quite interesting.
that'll be our
Scary.
next
Yeah, for sure.
I wish I knew a little bit more about AI, and then I'd feel good about that topic. But I'm happy to read up and get brought up to speed. In the meantime, I don't know. Have we solved anything? I don't think
No,
so.
we're not going to solve it.
No. But hopefully it's going to make everyone else have some conversations offline and talk about this very topic.
Talk about searching privately more
Maybe-
often.
Yeah, maybe we're just going to have to be more tolerant of the fact that this is happening because it's for the greater good. Is that what we're?
Oh, but here's the thing we didn't really talk about too much. I know you're trying to wrap it up here, Spence.
No.
But no one puts baby in the corner. So
What does that mean?
Yeah,
Nobody.
Dirty
puts
Dancing. Come on.
What?
No one puts baby in the corner? You don't know that reference?
No. Do you?
You do so.
I do. It's just you, Chad.
Okay.
We're in the know.
You can do private browsing on
Right.
your phone or your computer, but it's not private.
I think that just flags the authorities that, hey,
Right?
check out this guy.
Right.
Let's see what he's doing.
He went to private.
Yeah. Every time you hit incognito, there's a guy with headphones going go 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 go.
That's right.
Oh, how do you
that's
know
their
that,
that's their
Chad?
trigger to start looking.
How do you know that it's called incognito?
Well, Missy told me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Throw your wife under the bus.
Yeah.
No, incognito is not actually private. It says right on it. It can still be visible by
Well, all of it can.
others. Yeah.
All of it can.
So there's really no such thing as private.
Yeah. That's actually, I wonder if that's what happens when you go private or incognito, that just then automatically flags it like this is something that we need to be saving.
Maybe you should stop going to incognito and find out if it's making a difference.
I don't do that. I don't really care. My history is open to the public.
I don't buy that for a second.
Okay.
Hey, when I'm searching abscesses, I don't want everyone to know.
Why are you searching abscesses? is
Because
the question.
Spencer had one, so I wanted to see if he was going to be okay.
Okay, what happened to this whole private thing, Wade? Like, Jesus.
You said you don't care.
You want to give my OHIP number out on the
Just the last 4 digits. It's star, 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 star.
Yes, exactly. As you said, we're not going to solve it today. It's an interesting topic, though. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, I don't either.
But
Why don't we
glad-
search it?
Yeah, that's right. Let
We'll
me
do
just
it from
put
Chad's computer. That's what I do when I come here. Actually, I use your internet, so I don't know.
I'm just going to put my computer in incognito quick and just check that out.
Chad, it's always incognito. You know that. It's a default setting on your computer.
Anyways, guys, great topic.
Yes.
Thanks for bringing that to the table, Spence. I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
See you next time.
ProBROknow.
See you later, everyone.